Hello, it's me Alejandra again, and today I will be doing my Module 8 reading assessment. The first question asks me, what are some self-care activities that seem useful to me and why? The first one that I picked from the reading was organizational strategies. This is because it contains a fragment of boundaries that can help create comfort. I have found that whenever I have my workspace organized, my pen's on one side, my notes, schedule, I feel more clear-minded, and I think that brings me comfort. The second strategy that I picked was to avoid overthinking and downplaying my social interactions. This would force me to be more mindful of the thoughts that I am putting into my mind. And I also would say that having that organizational strategy intact would help me to avoid this overthinking, because if I'm organized, I will know that I have to hit points X, Y, and Z. And whenever I am thinking about that interaction, I will not have to be overthinking anymore, because I know that I did and said everything that I needed to say clearly. I have found these strategies useful, especially the organizational strategy. This is because in school, since I have a lot going on, more times than not, I know that I have to be organized, and I have to put mind energy into being organized and not just have things all over the place and not just try to remember my homeworks at the top of my head. What prevents you from using these strategies frequently? I would say the one I don't use as frequently is the avoiding overthinking strategy, and this is because I think sometimes that I speak faster than I can think, and so what I would have to do to avoid my overthinking is to think clearly, or maybe write some things down before I'm going to say what I need to say. The second question asks me why self-care is important as it pertains to becoming or being a social worker. I would say that it is important because I have to be aware of the energy that I am putting out and the energy that I will bring into my own life. The workspace, I believe, is something that should be kept at work, and I should also have my own boundaries and have my thoughts clear for in a time where I'm going to bed or just hanging out with friends, and not allow maybe some negative experiences that I have had at work or at school to bleed into my life. And I think spiritual self-care activities and just normal self-care activities are very closely related to each other. I also found this in the reading that it said that they both have similar objectives, just that spiritual self-care has a more holistic approach than regular self-care. So for me, a spiritual self-care activity would be prayer or worshiping, and something that is just normal self-care would be stretching, dancing, or even just doing a face mask or doing something that does not require much mindfulness as a spiritual self-care activity would require. The third question asks me to do an exercise, and so I have found that whenever I was asked, "Who are you?" the first thing that came up to my mind was, well, I'm a 21-year-old woman, girl in college, yada yada. But I took some time to think about my responses, and I came up with these 5 sentences. So My first response was a young woman working through life to make the most out of the opportunities that I was given. My second answer is a dreamer and a doer trying to make my impossible a reality. So I'll explain that. What I mean by trying to make my impossible a reality is I have a lot of objectives that I would like to accomplish that seem very impossible, but I know that there is a way that I can make them possible, especially if they are attainable goals. My third response was a lover of humanity, someone who holds the love of God into their hearts to share it with the people I encounter. So, although I may not go out and talk to a stranger and just try to talk to them about the gospel or the love of God, I will do what the Bible instructs one to do, which is treat somebody like a person, which that would mean valuing their opinions, their thoughts, and just allowing them to feel seen and heard. My fourth answer, maybe my third answer, I wrote a sister to my brother and older sister, doing my best to be there for them in any way that I can. Since we all came from the same place, I think I am able to share the same struggles, and even though I have come a different way than they have, or I have created a different path for myself than they have, I can take my experiences and my knowledge, even though I am the youngest, to maybe try to enlighten them or hear them out. And I think from my experiences, I have learned how to truly listen to what somebody is saying, not just being there, taking in information and not really understanding what they are trying to say. So I guess for that one, I would say I am a listener. I am also an appreciator and a learner. So I can appreciate the little things like somebody's laugh or the way they do their hair or dead flowers. I like dead flowers. And just watching the way that people interact with each other. And I also put that I am a learner, because I think every day is a chance to learn, even if it's something little. I can learn something about other people or about myself. I also put, this was for my last response, was I am a big ball of flowing energy. So what I meant by that is that I have learned that I am somebody who needs to move. I find it very hard to stay still. If I'm sitting in a chair, I will constantly change the position of my legs, or if I am alone and am able to, I will find myself dancing or maybe going for a run or stretching. And I also put that I like to relocate. If I do not feel welcomed in a space, or if I feel like I need to go somewhere else, then I will try to relocate myself. I will try to move. I hope that makes sense, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.